The conclave's white smoke on May 8, 2025 heralded a significant moment in the Catholic Church's long history: the election of Robert Francis Prevost as Pope Leo XIV. This marked the ascent of the first American to the papacy, a development that immediately sent ripples of anticipation and speculation throughout the global Catholic community and beyond. Pope Leo XIV, at 69, brought with him a reputation forged as a missionary, a seasoned statesman, and an experienced governor. His inaugural Mass on May 18, 2025, offered the first substantive glimpse into his nascent pontificate. Amidst the ancient rituals and solemn pronouncements, Pope Leo XIV issued a powerful call for a united church. His meeting with Ukrainian President Zelensky on the very day of his inaugural Mass underscored an immediate focus on international peace and diplomacy. Furthermore, a perhaps more internally significant meeting occurred on May 27, 2025, when he met with Cardinal Tagle, a figure central to recent Vatican financial scandals. The early days of Pope Leo XIV's pontificate, therefore, were characterized by a blend of traditional papal duties and subtle indications of a reformist inclination. Scarcely had Pope Leo XIV settled into the apostolic palace when the digital ether began to crackle with sensational claims. By early June 2025, a potent rumor started circulating with alarming speed across social media platforms, particularly X, formerly Twitter. The new pope was allegedly on the verge of launching a dramatic war on corruption. This narrative quickly escalated, coalescing around a particularly striking assertion that no fewer than 6 cardinals were facing imminent removal from their positions due to their involvement in corrupt practices. News outlets like Al Jazeera and Crux, while reporting on the existence of these rumors, were quick to point out the conspicuous absence of any corroborating evidence. No official Vatican sources nor any credible independent investigations lent credence to the idea of an impending mass dismissal of high-ranking prelates. In response to the growing furor, Vatican News, the official communication arm of the Holy See, reportedly issued denials regarding any planned purges. The 6 cardinals' rumor, therefore, serves as a potent case study in the generation and propagation of unverified information. The recent whispers of Pope Leo XIV's supposed crackdown on corruption do not arise in a vacuum. Rather, they echo against a long and often troubled history of financial dealings within the Vatican. One of the most infamous episodes remains the 1982 collapse of Banco Ambrosiano, an Italian bank with close ties to the Vatican Bank, formerly known as the Institute for the Works of Religion, or IOR. More recently, the Vatican has grappled with the fallout from a disastrous London property deal, which resulted in losses exceeding €140 million. This ill-fated investment became the centerpiece of a landmark trial that saw Cardinal Tagle, once a high-ranking official in the Secretariat of State, convicted of financial fraud and corruption. Cardinal Tagle's appeal, set to open on September 22, 2025, ensures that this particular scandal will continue to cast a long shadow. The Vatican's own financial disclosures paint a complex picture. In 2022, its revenue stood at €770 million, derived from diverse sources including Italian real estate, donations, and the Vatican Bank and tourism. The path to sustained financial integrity is a marathon, not a sprint. The notion of a papal war on corruption is not a novel concept, unique to the nascent pontificate of Leo XIV. His immediate predecessor, Pope Francis, made financial reform and a crackdown on corruption central tenets of his papacy from its outset in 2013. Pope Francis initiated a significant anti-corruption drive in 2019, which led to unprecedented actions within the Vatican city-state, including police raids on Vatican offices and the suspension of several staff members. One of the most visible outcomes of Pope Francis's efforts was indeed the investigation and subsequent conviction of Cardinal Tagle. Beyond individual prosecutions, Pope Francis also implemented structural changes, creating new financial oversight bodies and issuing stricter regulations. The hopes for Leo XIV's success are undoubtedly amplified by the groundwork of Francis, but the inherent complexities of reforming such an institution remain a formidable obstacle for any pontiff, no matter how determined. Amidst the swirling rumors and the broader discussions of Vatican reform, the figure of Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle of the Philippines has emerged as a significant voice, one whose pronouncements on church unity resonate strongly with Pope Leo XIV's initial calls. Cardinal Tagle, a prominent and respected figure within the global church, has consistently advocated for a more cohesive and unified Catholic community. His vision appears to align closely with the thematic underpinnings of Pope Leo XIV's early pontificate, particularly the emphasis on a united church that transcends internal divisions and presents a common front in addressing both spiritual and temporal challenges. The symbolism of Cardinal Tagle's involvement in the commencement of the new papacy was not lost on observers. On May 18, 2025, the same day as Pope Leo XIV's inaugural Mass, it was Cardinal Tagle who had the honor of placing the fisherman's ring on the new Pope's finger. Cardinal Tagle's prominent role and clear articulation of these values suggest that he could be a key ally and implementer of Pope Leo XIV's broader vision. The developments in Rome, particularly the election of Pope Leo XIV and the subsequent whispers of robust reforms, are being watched with particular intensity by the approximately 108 million Filipino Catholics. The Philippines, a nation with one of the largest Catholic populations globally, maintains a deep and vibrant connection to the papacy and the universal church. For Filipino Catholics, the integrity and unity of the church are not abstract theological concepts, but matters of profound personal faith and communal identity. Consequently, any indication of a renewed commitment to transparency and accountability within the Vatican resonates deeply across the archipelago, fueling hopes for a stronger, more credible institution. Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle's prominent role and his close association with the theme of unity further amplify these Filipino hopes. As one of their own, his voice carries particular weight and credibility. The intense focus from the Philippines underscores a broader reality. The Vatican's actions, especially concerning issues of governance and integrity, have global repercussions. The dramatic narrative of Pope Leo XIV launching an immediate sweeping purge of 6 allegedly corrupt cardinals is, undoubtedly, a compelling story. It offers a vision of decisive, almost cinematic justice. However, it is precisely this sensational quality that should invite a healthy dose of skepticism. The primary challenge with the 6 cardinals' claim is the persistent and glaring lack of verifiable evidence. As previously noted, reputable news organizations have found no official confirmation or credible independent sourcing to support these assertions. Vatican News itself has reportedly refuted any notion of an impending purge, emphasizing the rarity and public nature of such significant disciplinary actions against cardinals. The quest for a more transparent and accountable church is an ongoing endeavor, one that involves meticulous investigation, due process, structural adjustments, and a cultural shift, not just sudden sweeping dismissals. The path to meaningful and lasting reform within the Vatican is paved not only with good intentions, but also with significant structural and juridical complexities. The Vatican city-state operates under a unique system of governance where the Pope holds supreme legislative, executive, and judicial authority. This concentration of power, while rooted in centuries of tradition and theological understanding of the Petrine ministry, presents inherent challenges when it comes to establishing systems of checks and balances comparable to those found in secular states. The trial of Cardinal Becciu, for example, was a landmark case, but it also highlighted the ongoing debate about the Vatican's judicial processes. Critics and reformers alike have pointed to the need for clearer separation of powers to ensure both the reality and the perception of impartial justice, especially in sensitive cases involving financial misconduct or abuse of office. Several potential structural reforms have been proposed over the years to address these challenges. These discussions underscore that true, deep-seated reform within the Vatican requires more than just a change in personnel or policy. It necessitates a willingness to examine and potentially reconfigure foundational aspects of its centuries-old governance structures. While the sensational rumors of an imminent purge of cardinals capture headlines and public attention, It is essential to place Pope Leo XIV's early actions and stated intentions within the broader context of his pontificate and the Church's ongoing journey. Pope Leo XIV, from his first days, has already demonstrated a keen awareness of his global pastoral role, extending far beyond the internal administrative challenges of the Vatican. His immediate engagement with the conflict in Ukraine, including his meeting with President Zelensky, and his reported calls for ceasefires in both Gaza and Ukraine, highlight a pontiff deeply concerned with issues of global peace and human suffering. The pursuit of a more transparent church, therefore, should be seen not as an isolated crusade, but as an integral part of strengthening the Church's capacity to fulfill its wider mission. A Vatican perceived as accountable and well-governed is better positioned to speak with credibility on global ethical issues. The war on corruption, if indeed it is a priority for Leo XIV, is likely to be a methodical, long-term endeavor characterized by careful investigation, due process, and systemic adjustments. The true measure of his papacy will lie not in sensational purges, but in the sustained, often unglamorous work of building more robust systems, fostering a deeper culture of integrity, and ensuring that the Church's resources and energies are primarily directed towards its spiritual and humanitarian mission in a world desperately in need of both. Please subscribe to our channel History Documentary Hub for more insightful videos and intriguing content.